Hello. Do you have pain in your back? Your back ever feel stiff? Do you ever have pain down your leg? So in some previous blogs we've given you some information about how to deal with sciatica. So today I want to show you some simple exercises that you can do if you do have sciatica or if you do have pain in your back. This is a basic routine that it can be the foundation of a healthy back routine. If any of these exercises hurt, you want to stop doing them and contact your physical therapist or your doctor. But these, sometimes just getting involved in some simple exercise early on can be enough to alleviate your symptoms. So feel free to try these and also contact us if you have any questions about them. Laura today is going to be our model. Thanks, Laura.
You're welcome.
So if you would lie down with your head on the pillow. So a basic exercise for control and awareness of where your back is in space is the pelvic tilt. And this is also true if you have some of the conditions we've mentioned in a previous post, like joint problems, spondylolisthesis, spinal stenosis, neuroforaminal stenosis. Those are conditions that might benefit from this. Sometimes, if you have a disc problem, it may benefit from this. But again, if any of these exercises reproduce your back pain, and especially pain down into your buttocks or into your leg, you want to make sure that you stop doing that one, and you want to contact your physician or your therapist. But the first exercise is a pelvic tilt, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at this area here, and what Laura is going to do is she's going to roll her hips back without pushing down on her feet. So she's using her abdominal muscles to pull. Now keep in mind, and I'm going to show you on Slim here, he's going to help us do these exercises, that your abdominal muscles actually connect to the top of your pubic bone. So by contracting and moving that area back, she's flattening her back, and she's going to hold that for a count of anywhere from 3 to 5 and then relax. And you can do 8, 10, 15 of these. These are a good one particularly if you have a joint problem in your back. You do these in the morning to loosen up. It's really helpful. So building on that pelvic tilt, what we want to do, and as mentioned, this is a good one if you have spondylolisthesis or a joint problem, is you perform the pelvic tilt. So do that tilt, and you can see how she's tilting her hips back. And then what she's going to do is she's going to gently reach up and bring this knee and grab your knee and gently stretch. And she's getting a stretch through her back into her buttocks. And what would she do if she has pain into her leg? Stop doing it, okay? And then you're going to relax and then do a pelvic tilt and do the other side. So this becomes an awareness exercise, a strengthening exercise, and a flexibility exercise. Okay, awesome. So then another one that we like to add for most people that have back pain is the opposite arm leg stretch. So in this case, she's going to put this left leg out. She's going to bring her toes up to her head. She's going to drive her heel to the far wall. And while Laura does that, she's going to take this hand, the opposite arm, and she's going to take her fingers and she's going to drive her fingers to this wall. So you can see when she's doing this exercise, she's elongating her spine by stretching her opposite arm and her opposite leg. She's going to hold this for a count of 5 to 10, and she's going to relax, and then she's going to do it on the other side. All right, any pain with any of that?
Nope.
All right, cool.
You can feel it though, that's for sure.
Okay. The next one we're going to do is a hip flexor stretch. So the reason we do hip flexor stretch, and Slim's going to give us a hand here, is our hip flexor muscles, some of them are iliopsoas, attach up here to the spine. Some of them attach here into the pelvis, and they run through the pelvis into the front of the hip. Some of them attach on the outside of the hip here and go down to the hip. But they're muscles that get tight from prolonged sitting with your legs crossed, just general inactivity, and they can create some back pain. So for a hip flexor stretch for Laura, she's going to bring this left knee up to her chest. So she's going to hold this here. So that holds her pelvis in a flexed position. And then see how her knee comes up a little bit? That's because she's a little bit tight. You feel a stretch there at all? So this may be enough of a stretch for you. If not, let's have you scoot to the edge of the table. Thank you. And now you're going to bring this one up here and hold that knee, and you're going to let this one just drop off the table. Now you feel that stretch? Okay. So now she's getting a good stretch all the way through her hip here. Again, with stretches, there's all sorts of ways to hold. We generally think you want to hold for at least 30 seconds. You want to try to do at least a 2-minute stretch. If you can hold it for the whole 2 minutes, that's awesome. And she can do the other side. So that's the hip flexor stretch. We're going to go in terms of the level of intensity of these. So the hamstrings are another muscle that we want to stretch. So if you have a back problem, it's always good to stretch your hamstrings in a recumbent position because your spine is unloaded. So there's less stress there. So there's a lot of ways to stretch your hamstrings, but the way that we like the most is here. Now grab behind your leg here, and then she's going to activate her quads, and she's going to straighten her knee, bring the toes back, and feel the stretch. Okay? If this is uncomfortable, she could bend this knee, but you see how she's also getting a stretch of this hip here. Okay, again, hold for 30 seconds. You do that for a total of 2 minutes.
That's a good stretch.
That is a good one. Yeah, because everybody's hamstrings get tight just from the sitting that we do. Then we're going to have her do a gastroc stretch. So let's have you stand up, and I'm going to go get a wedge. So for the gastroc stretch, now let's have you back on your back for a second, please. To do a gastroc stretch in a recumbent position, what you might do is wrap a belt around your toe and pull. So you get hamstrings and calf at the same time. Another way to do it is standing. So we're going to have you stand up here, and you're going to put your right foot on that wedge and face that wall. Now remember the pelvic tilt. She's now going to do a pelvic tilt like she did when she was lying down. Flatten that back. There you go. She's going to hold her tummy tight. She's going to take this foot and step forward just a little bit more. You feel that stretch? Now keep that tummy tight so you're not arching your back. She's going to, let me see your pelvic tilt just a little. There you go. She's going to keep that back flat, but she's stretching her calf right here. Again, 30 seconds total for about 2 minutes. If you did 2 minutes on each side every day, you'd see an improvement in your flexibility.
It's painful.
Yeah, you can feel that in there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Again, prolonged sitting is going to make your calves tight. You scroll that page up. Thank you. One more. Perfect. Okay, so let's have you lie on your side, and we'll have you face the camera.
Okay.
So, a couple strengthening exercises. This is also a test. One of the conditions we talked about was a piriformis syndrome. So one way to activate your piriformis is to come here and offer some resistance. You hold that right there. And if that reproduces the pain in your buttocks or down the leg, that might suggest that it's the piriformis muscle. But one way to strengthen that muscle is to do what we call clams. Feet together, she raises her knees apart, right to there, so she's not rotating her back, and then she comes down. And you do about 15 to 20 of those, 2 or 3 sets. I've been on a personal program to build my backside, as they say. I looked in the mirror a few months ago, and I realized I was that fat man with a big belly and no butt. And it causes back pain. So I've been doing a butt building program.
You're trying to get a dump truck.
Absolutely. And one of the exercises I do is this one, and you'd be surprised how challenging this one is. And you see all the little girls doing it with the band around there. Well, I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. So you want to make sure you do this one. This is a good one to strengthen the hip. Okay, so let's see what we got next. Even more challenging one. With her bottom knee bent, here, toes back, buttocks tight, raise the leg up, pause, 1, 2, 3, and down. Again, 15 to 20 of those. You notice she's not rolling back, so she's not working her hip flexors. We're really targeting those muscles in the back of her hip.
We can feel it.
Yes. This is a strengthening exercise. So if any of these irritate your back or create the sciatica down the back of your leg, you want to stop doing the exercises, check with your doctor or physical therapist. This is a good strengthening exercise. Okay, so let's have you on your back. Again, please. This is an exercise that I will share with you with some qualifications. If it creates pain, let's say you have an acute herniated disc, this would be a challenging exercise for you to do. But it's one that you could shoot towards. And it's a mobility exercise where you keep your feet and your knees together and you're gently dropping your knees to the right, and then she's going to drop her knees to the left. Again, within a pain-free range of motion for your back, trying to increase the range. If one has spondylolisthesis, this might be an exercise you stay away from. If you have a disc, you want to tread lightly. If you have a joint problem, this is an excellent exercise to increase the nutrition and the mobility of that joint. And as I've tried to remind patients over the years, the best way to keep from getting stiff in the joints at night is to not go into them, because if you go into them at night, you'll be getting stiff. They never get that joke. Okay, so this is trunk rotations from side to side. Another progression, if you have, particularly with spondylolisthesis, is you really want to, and you, the other thing is if you have a joint problem and you sit during the day, is to do the pelvic tilt and do a double knee to chest and grab and stretch. Okay, so that's a stretch exercise. Now, starting in this position, we can also do a spinal stabilization exercise program. And the beginning one would be here. So, hands up. And we're going to bring your knees right to here. Can you hold that pelvis tight? Mm-hmm. And feet right here. So that's the beginning of it. That's the beginning position. In this position, we can do any number of things to challenge her. So one thing we might do is have her just gently straighten this leg and at the same time move your right arm out. And right to the point where she feels her abs working and she's starting to lose that pelvic tilt. We don't want to lose it. And then she comes in and then she does the other side. This is an easy, simple way. You're in a recumbent position, your joints are protected. Again, if this position creates pain because if you had a herniated disc and you're increasing the intra-abdominal pressure, then you'd want to hold off on this one and see your therapist or your doctor. But this is a good progression as a way to start to build the stabilization of the spine, where she's moving her hips, but she's having to hold her pelvis and her spine in a stable position. So that's about as challenging as you might need to get at home. If you were to do 3 sets of 15 of that,
you'd feel it.
You would feel it.
Sure.
And you'd also notice the progress, and it will come quickly if you stay consistently. We've done videos on what the parameters of exercise are, the intensity, the frequency, and the duration of training, so you can refer to those as a way to add repetitions and know how you're doing. If this information has been helpful, by all means, subscribe to our YouTube page, like us on Facebook, go to our webpage. We have all the blogs on there with information for you to read, and I appreciate your time.